right? So this is the first video, and it's about names and African names. All right, the importance of African names, and also the recognition of African American Creole names, which are names that, yeah, we may look at them as, oh, Kyrie or LeBron or LaQuisha, whatever. But these are names that say, I do not want to be called Tom. I do not want to be called Mary. I do not want to be called, I want to have my own identity. All right. Now, when you do not know the name that God gave you because of the cultural loss, once again, right, then you come up with something. But it's something better than that. Anything better than that. Right, better than being called, that's what I get, the resilience, the strength. So let's watch this video. But this is about African names and how African people today perceive their names.
Hello, you're welcome to this week's culture segment, which focuses on African names. I'm Claudia Nsono. In his play Romeo and Juliet, Shakespeare asked, what is in a name? Now here it is. A name is an identity that links you to your roots and place of origin. It actually tells what tribe you come from and what language you speak. So my sisters are called Ruth, Josephine, Hilda, Belta, Mercy, and Linda. And why my brother answers to Christian, and that's simply because we're Christians. I guess if we're Muslims, would have names such as Aisatu, Fadimatu, Maria Matu, and lots more, which are Arab names. But that's not all. Africans equally answer to Spanish, Belgian, Portuguese, and French names, or names from whoever colonized their country. What's even more intriguing is that most of us grew up thinking that such names were formal, they were a sign that one was primitive and that one was very well educated. And I'm sure you remember that look you gave someone because they didn't have a foreign name. That's exactly what we're talking about in today's culture segment. Well,
according to the video, Africans adopt foreign names over traditional names. Why? All right. We got one answer. 3. They coming in hot and heavy.
Now, while people are answering this, I would love to turn this around both to our studio audience and our panelists here. If you know what your name means, or if you have any kind of story behind your name, can you share it with us? And if you were a parent by any chance, how did you come up with a name for your own child or children?
I'll go first because I feel like my name is, not as unique. It name's Aaron, but with 2 R's. So Aaron with 1 R is actually Gaelic, and it translates in Gaelic to Ireland, and then also can be translated to peace. And there's a Gaelic term called Aaron Go Bra, which means long live Ireland. And like I said before, my parents are Trinidadian, so I don't think that was a part of why they named me that at all. I was actually named for my grandmother, who used to nanny for a white family in Trinidad when they vacationed there, and their child's name was Erin, and she loved that little girl and named me after her. So I am named after a white Irish little girl who I've never met in my entire life.
Thanks for sharing that, Aaron. Anthony or Toy, Marlon?
I'm happy to go. So I was doing research and preparation again, and found out that Anthony actually it's a Latin word that translates into priceless one, worthy of praise, inestimable.
Amen.
Nice one.
And that made me feel very powerful. But at the same time, well, this is actually a great way to introduce Coach AD is actually my father in the chat. I am a junior, as you all see. I am a junior.
He said so.
Yep. So he's telling the story now, but I and my parents only child together, and he said that all the time that he prayed for his son, and so named me after him, and I plan to do the same if I'm so blessed to have a son as well.
That's beautiful.
You have many, many sons. Amen.
I love that.
On my African side, when people say they want son, I have to say amen.
Toy, do you have a story to share?
Sure. So my mom named me Toy Nia, and Nia in Swahili means purpose. So it was on purpose. Yes, my name is pronounced Toy Nia, and my son has a very traditional name, or a Christian name. His name is Nathaniel, and in Hebrew it means God's gift, or God has given. And we also named him, his middle name is Norman, after my grandfather, because we truly believe that that Nathaniel was my grandfather coming back to us. So we believe that God had given us Norman again. So that's why his name is Nathaniel Norman.
Fantastic.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Toy.
Can I add something?
Yeah, go ahead, Marlon. Then I'll share
Okay,
mine after you.
because you know what she said. There's actually a name in Yoruba. It's called Babatunde. It means the father has returned. And there's Iyatunde or Yetunde, which means that the mother has returned. So there's actually a cultural name for that exact situation in Africa. That's kind of white culture. You don't have to reinvent it, right? Oh, that's awesome stuff. So my name is Marlon. My name is, my mom was watching the Jackson 5, and I could have been named Tito. So I am very happy that my name is Marlon. I named my son Jahim Olusegun. Jahim, Jaz in him. And his middle name Olusegun means God's victory in Yoruba. And so it means that basically, like him in my life is a victory that God, for God, because he's here as a soldier to do his will. So that's the meaning of that. All right.
Yeah. Thanks all so much for sharing what your names mean. Just kind of really briefly, and just to kind of reflect back on the video that we watched, what she said resonates a lot, because I know, for many African people, fortunately, unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it, some people, they do view, Christian names or any other type of non-African name as somehow meaning that you're more developed or more educated, more exposed, or whatever their reasons may be for that. And what I always say on the podcast, my dad was extremely intentional about naming myself and my siblings. We all have Igbo names. And I know, and the reason why I specify that, because I know for many Nigerians, specifically some who are Igbo, they have like a middle name or a first name that might be quote English name or a Christian name, and then they have their traditional name that follows. But for me personally, and when I am blessed to have children, my husband and I, we also want to name our children, give them Igbo names that have a cultural significant, thing that ties them back to their heritage. So that's something that's really important to me personally. And my name in Kiruka means the best is yet to come, or the future is greater. So it's something that resonates with my life personally. So I love my name, and even though growing up it was challenging at times, but I wouldn't change it for anything. So thank you guys so much for sharing what your names mean and everything else like that. Let's see.
That's awesome, and I love the way we're like learning about different things about the religion, about that you may not have known about the way Africans treat names and some of the challenges we're having in Africa with like breaking away from the colonial mentality. One of the difficulties of Africans is that you see in Africa the white the colonialists were coming as friends. Very confusing. They couldn't come as enemies because they were surrounded by a bunch of black folks, so they couldn't come with the same venom. We did not know what they're doing over the other side of the pond. We did not, they come to us with presents and gifts and guns and so there's a very confused narrative in Africa that unfortunately has hindered our development. And so that is some of the areas that in Africa we still have to work on. We don't even think, some of you don't even think that's wrong. They're like still actively like trying to be not resilient, right? Actively still trying to adopt white names as a form of power and status, right? Complete opposite, right? And I think that's something else.